It's actually just a story. It's a coming-of-age story, and it's the story of Rachel who survives this accident that Jamie witnesses. I will tell you now, the book is inspired by a real event. This accident did not happen to me. I try to make sure I say this to people because you start to look worried when I start to explain the character. You're going to get worried about me. I did not survive an accident like the one I describe in the book, so everyone relax. But it did happen to a real girl about 15 years ago. Sometimes I say 17 years ago, and sometimes I say 12, because I feel very protective of the real girl. I don't want her to be found. Because it's not really her story, but this moment in her life inspired me to investigate some important questions to me. So I think the original question I had with her was, what happens to her? I mean, after you survive an accident like this, you've lost your entire family, what does your survival look like? And so what I set out to do with the book was to give her a voice and give her a future. Now, I did know 3 things about her. I knew her age, I knew what she looked like because there was a photograph in the newspaper story, and I knew her name. But I couldn't guess what would happen to her. So I decided to go into the deepest recesses of my imagination, and I made her half black and half white, like me. And then I made her half African American and half Danish, like me. And I gave her blue eyes, like me. I did make her taller, which you can tell by the book cover. Like, if this were to scale, you would know that she's actually like 5'7", and I'm not that tall. But I decided that there was something about her story that resonated with my own obsessions about multiracial and multicultural identity and growing up in a very certain time in the 1980s when like me, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, in it was a very segregated town in a mostly black community. So that's where I send my character, Rachel, straight to Portland, Oregon in the 1980s, right after the accident, and that's where the book begins. She is obviously struggling with her grief, but she's suddenly struggling with this new question also that people keep asking her, which is, what are you? And she says, I'm the very best speller in my whole entire class. And they're like, no, what are you? And she says, well, I'm really good at math, too. They're like, no, what are you? Are you white or are you black? And Rachel has never dealt with this question because she's lived overseas. Her father was in the Air Force, like my father. And I think if she had to answer that question, what are you, she would have said, I'm American. But now she's in America, and being American isn't enough. It's very curious to her. So these first chapters, and I read just from the beginning of the book because I hope you're enticed by this story, and I don't want to ruin it for you. But this is right at the beginning of the book when Rachel gets to Portland, Oregon. She's living with her African-American grandmother. And I think the only other thing you need to know about this little piece of the book is that the word for mom in Danish is mor. In my diary, I write, this is day 2. Second day at Grandma's house. I wish I could go back home to before the summer in Chicago, back to base housing in Germany, when there was me and Robbie and Moa and Pop and everything was okay. Even though there wouldn't be an Ariel, that would be okay too. Aunt Loretta makes pancakes special for me, even though she has no business in the kitchen. 2 pancakes and not enough syrup is what she gives me. Syrup that makes a stain in the pancake middle, gone so fast like the pancake is thirsty. I eat exactly what she gives me. Aunt Loretta eats only 1 pancake and Grandma none because her teeth don't set right. There is something dangerous about pancakes because Grandma watches us eat. How you gonna catch a lizard with your backside loading you down? Grandma fusses at Aunt Loretta. I am smart and know that when she says lizard, she means husband. That is called learning the meaning from the context because Grandma says it and she touches Aunt Loretta's face at the same time. That means she's talking about being pretty and being worth something and making it count. Aunt Loretta laughs and so do I. They are happy that I am laughing. It's the first time as the new girl. I don't need a lizard, Mama. When Aunt Loretta says Mama, I think of saying more and how I don't get to say it anymore. I'm caught in before and after time, last time things and firsts. Last time things make me sad, like the last time I called for more and used Danish sounds. I feel my middle fill up with sounds that no one else understands. Then they reach my throat. What if these sounds get stuck in me? I laugh harder, but the real laugh feels trapped inside, too. School is not a first-time thing. I sit in the front, where I always do. I sit quietly like I am supposed to do. I raise my hand before speaking and write my name in the top right-hand corner of the paper and the date, because this is what good students do. Mrs. Anderson is homeroom and language arts. She is a black woman. I think about this and don't know why. It is something I am supposed to know but not think about. Mrs. Anderson is my first black woman teacher. There are 15 black people in the class and 7 white people, and there's me. There's another girl who sits in the back. Her name is Carmen LaGuardia, and she has hair like mine, my same color skin, and she counts as black. I don't understand how, but she seems to know. I see people 2 different ways now, people who look like me and people who don't look like me. Day 2 becomes day 3, and the next day and the next. I count each day in my diary. Each day gets a new page. Grandma thinks I'm adjusting well. She says, I think you adjusting just fine. I want her to put S's on the ends of her words and not say fixin' to when she's about to do something. There's a girl who wants to beat me up. She says, you think you so cute. Her name is Tamika Washington. She says, I'm fixin' to kick your butt. Sometimes she pulls my hair. In gym class, she grabbed my 2 braids. I said, ouch, really loud, even though I didn't mean to, and Mrs. Carr heard. She said, Tamika, and blew the whistle real loud, and Tamika said, Miss Kay, I'm just playing with her. Dag! When Mrs. Carr turned away again, that's when Tamika said it. I'm fixing to kick your butt after school. You think you so cute with that hair. I am light-skinned. That's what the other kids say, and I talk white. I think new things when they say this, like, there are a lot of important things I didn't know about. I think Moa didn't know either. They tell me it is bad to have ashy knees. They say, stay out of the rain so my hair doesn't go back. They say white people don't use wash rags in the shower, and I realize now, at Grandma's, I do. They have a language I don't know, but I understand. I learned that black people don't have blue eyes. I learned that I am black. I have blue eyes. I put all these new facts into the new girl.